What are you guys' thoughts on the X95J? And do you think it will be better than Samsung QN90A or compete with their own lineup, the A90J?
Do I think it's going to compete with the OLEDs? Not at all. And I don't think it's really going to touch the QN90A either. It will have better accuracy than the QN90A, and also the having Dolby Vision, so it's going to have reasons to pick it.
Yeah.
But in pure picture quality performance, I think that's still going to be Samsung's win. And I think the X95J is going to cut price pretty soon.
I agree with most of what you said. The X95J is definitely going to have to cut price a little bit because it's coming in hot. If you compare it to the QN90A, I don't think it's on that level, mainly because of the black levels, right? If we're talking about a sports TV, the X95J definitely looks like a really good sports TV because you got factor in Sony's motion. I think that the X95J at the right price can be a very good buy.
So Samsung is definitely going to have the average picture level brightness advantage. The QN90A is going to be brighter in the bright scenes. But in your dark scenes with small highlights, I think Sony might be able to win that
Hmm.
because of the XR processor.
Yep.
And I think by them not pushing the brightness envelope as much, they may be able to hold those dark levels while having the bright details a little bit more than the Samsung. I think
Yeah.
with the Samsung, you kind of got to pick one or the other. Do you want it to get dark at the darker and then sacrifice your highlights, or do you want those bright highlights but lift your blacks? I think Sony might possibly have an advantage there of a better balance between the two if the processing is able to do it. And I think that's one of the reasons they don't push that brightness so much because they do want to hold on to better blacks and better blooming control. So
Hmm.
we'll just have to wait and see.
I hope that the dimming algorithm is really good, and then the X95J definitely has room to compete. Um,
Hmm.
I do think it is more in line. So, like, Stop the FOMO, thank you for the super chat, says, still driving but listening. X95J versus QNED 90 predictions, they're priced the same. So, I think, like, when you price these two the same, this is more of a fight than, let's say, the QN90A versus the X95J, or
Hmm.
even the QN90A versus the QNED 90. How do you think this is going to shake out?
So yeah, I mean the QN90A I think is the top dog. It's the highest class of LCD that we're going to have this year, and there just isn't any other competition at that level. I think
Mm,
the X95J and the QNED 90 are just the one step down. I think they're going to score around the same, but in different areas. Like I said, I think the blooming on the X95J may be more widespread, less bright, whereas on the Q90, there's so many zones that it's a very small, tight area of blooming, but it is a
mhm.
brighter blooming. So that's going to be personal preference. Black levels, I think they'll probably be similar. It depends. One thing people are going to have to pay attention to with reviews of the 95J, if it's following the same settings as the X90, the 900H, the 950H, medium local dimming is technically the most accurate setting, but you have more blooming with that setting.
Yeah.
Setting the local dimming to high, you really decrease the blooming at a small impact to your accuracy.
Yeah.
So, when you're watching reviews for it, just try to find out what local dimming setting it's on. Because if
Hmm.
it's on medium, it's going to bloom more. And the same thing with the QNED, like that to control its blooming more, needed to be on high as well.
Right.
Um,
So I
I,
don't
I
know if, oh, sorry. I don't know if it's like the Samsung TVs, but like when you're outside of game mode and you use high local dimming, it does disable a little bit of the tone mapping on high. Is that the same case with the QNED?
no, uh, they separate the local dimming and the local dimming and the tone mapping
Okay.
settings. Samsung combines it into one.
Yeah.
So that's why the Samsung like is a completely different thing.
Hmm. Yep.
With the LG in SDR, local dimming should be on low,
Okay.
and then in HDR should be on high. The Sony should just always be on high.